Chapter 17. In this chapter, we'll be talking about activity-based costing. So, activity-based costing is another type of costing system. Remember, a costing system is designed to figure out how much it costs to make a product. So, we have two kinds of costing systems. First is traditional costing. So, traditional costing includes job order costing and process costing. Traditional costing means that you only use one factor. That factor is called a predetermined overhead rate, or a predetermined rate. So if we're trying to figure out how much overhead cost we have, and we use a costing system, we're going to be using just one factor. Activity-based costing uses multiple factors, means more than one. So activity-based costing, or ABC, is usually more accurate than traditional costing. It's also more work and more complex. The thing you need to know is that traditional costing is going to use one factor for manufacturing overhead. ABC is going to use more than one factor. The most important concept that you need to know for activity-based costing is this notion of cost driver. Cost driver means the more cost driver you have, the more cost you have. So for example, take a look at this example here with manufacturing. So for manufacturing, maybe a good cost driver would be machine hours. So that means if you have more machine hours, you have more manufacturing cost. So you can see that the cost driver and the cost, activity cost, is going to be directly related. What about setups? A good cost driver for setup cost would be number of setups. So the more setups you have, the more setup cost you have. That's called a cost driver. Okay, let's take a look at an activity-based costing problem. Okay, so here in this problem, we have 5 different activities or cost pools, we call them. Okay, so we have ordering and receiving cost, machine setup cost, machining cost, assembling cost, inspection and testing cost. For each cost pool, we have a cost driver. So what would be the cost driver for ordering and receiving? You can see the cost driver is purchase orders. Then we see that we have $200,000 worth of ordering and receiving cost, $600,000 worth of machine setup cost, $2 million worth of machining cost, so on and so forth. Next, let's take a look at expected cost driver. Okay, so here's how you interpret this. We have $200,000 of ordering and receiving cost, and we expect that we're going to have a total of 2,500 orders. Okay, so again, total overhead for ordering and receiving is 200,000. Total number of orders we expect to have, 2,500. Of these 2,500, scissor jacks uses 1,000 and hydraulic jacks uses 1,500. You can see 1,000 plus 1,500 is 2,500. Okay, and then the rest are the same thing. So you see 500 plus 700 is 1,200. How much machine setup cost do you have in total? 600,000. How much total number of setups do you have? 1,200. So what we do is we figure out a rate for each activity. Okay, so take a look at the bottom part here. So in the bottom part, you can see we have ordering and receiving at the bottom. How much is the estimated ordering and receiving overhead cost? 200,000. How many total purchase orders do you expect to have? It's 80. It's 2,500. So the total equals 80. How much is the total machine setup cost? $600,000. How many total setups do you expect to have? 1,200. So what's 600,000 divided by 1,200? It's 500. So you can see that we have different rates for each activity. So you can see we have 80, 500, 250, 60, and 20. How do you get each number? You take 2 million divided by 800,000, that's 250. You take 1.8 million divided by 3 million, you get 60 cents. What's the most expensive activity? Setup. It's $500 per setup. What's the cheapest activity? In this case, it's assembly because it's 60 cents per part. Okay, so remember the rates that we figured out. That's super important because in the next step, we're going to be assigning everything. Okay, so take a look here. You can see that we have 1,000. Okay, so scissor jacks, that's on the left side here. So this is all scissor jacks. Scissor jacks uses 1,000 orders, okay? And how much is each order? It's $80. So how much ordering and receiving cost does scissor jack get? 80,000. Okay, where do these numbers come from? Right here. Scissor jacks uses 1,000 orders. What was the rate for each order? It was, see, $80 per order. Okay, so we're putting all of the steps together. So you can see here, how many setups does scissor jacks use? It's right here, 500. 500 times, what's the setup cost? Okay, that was from the prior slide. It's $500. So how much machine setup cost is assigned to scissor jacks? 250,000. Okay, so for hydraulic jacks, let's take a look at this here. How many orders does hydraulic jacks use? 1,500. What is the rate? What is the overhead for each order? $80. So how much cost is assigned to hydraulic jacks for ordering and receiving? 120,000. So you do that for each step, and then you can see that scissor jacks uses $2.56 million in overhead. Hydraulic jacks uses $2.74 million. Finally, we take the numbers. You can see here the total cost for scissor jacks was $2.56 million. And what if we make 200,000 scissor jacks? Okay, so if you make 200,000 scissor jacks, then how much does it cost to make one scissor jack? $12.80. Okay, $12.80. It's supposed to be 200,000 total units produced for scissor jacks. For hydraulic jacks, you can see what is the total cost assigned to hydraulic jacks? $2.74 million. Where do we get that from? From right here, $2.74 million. Let's say we make 80,000 hydraulic jacks. So how much does it cost to make each hydraulic jack? $34.25. Okay, so you can see this is an ABC problem. ABC uses more than one factor. Traditional costing only uses one factor. This concludes the chapter. If you have any questions, please let me know.